Hard AF Seltzer is now live in over 2,500 locations across the United States. We're now available in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, and Texas. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, enter your city or zip, and find the nearest location closest to you. Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros, kids. Another emergency Sunday night show. No, this will not be called fake news, because this is real news. For the first time in my lifetime, a sitting president has decided not to run and drop out of the next presidential election race. President Joseph Robinette Biden has dropped out of the 2024 race on the exact day that Dan predicted on this show last week. How did you know?
Just lucky, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a case of the old luckies. Yeah. That's all that was? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fun.
I've got another bit of luck for you today. But We'll get to that in a bit.
Well, I was surprised, at least. I know you weren't. One, Sunday is a non-existent news day all the way around. To drop it in the middle of the afternoon and to drop just an announcement on Twitter. Bob, if you can pull that up here for the people and read this. Now, you said something about the stationery this was on, and I found that interesting before we came on air.
Yeah, the letterhead is it's not even on, it's not from the office of the president. It doesn't have a White House seal on it. It's just his name at the top, which leads me to believe that, well, first of all, he's speaking as a candidate, not as the president. So it would be inappropriate for him to use the presidential seal on this. In the same way that, Trump was acting as a candidate and private citizen when he said shit about January 6th, right? It's the same thing. You have to bifurcate the office and the person. And I assume he did that because for that reason, and also because he didn't want people thinking he was resigning the office. Because if it was on White House letterhead, I would have assumed he was resigning the office.
Same. And according to this statement, he is going to finish out the rest of his term. Not like that's he hasn't done anything, right? He hasn't been serving as president this whole time. So that's not really a statement. That's more like, hey, I need 6 months to find a new house. Yeah, it isn't. I just don't understand why you would waste the entire 4-year term, try to run again, finish it out by 86 years old, and then give your party essentially 90 days to find a new candidate.
Well, he wanted to stay. So here's what happened, right? This is a crystal ball. This is just being minimally observant. Biden wanted to be president his whole life and finally got to be able to. He's in a diminished mental state. He has dementia or whatever the fuck's going on. And Obama wanted to stay president, right? Mm-hmm. So, that's a win-win. Biden can pretend to do stuff. Obama can run shit from Hawaii and blah, blah, blah. Now they got exposed, right? They've been exposed. All the stuff they've been doing for the last 4 years have been exposed. And they have to update the program a little bit. And Joe's nonplussed about it. He's not thrilled. He's very, nonplussed is not even right. He's angry.
Yeah, and that was evidence with not only this letter, but then, Bob, he had a follow-up tweet about 45 minutes after releasing this letter where he formally endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for President of the United States.
Yeah, now so this part right here, this wasn't supposed to happen.
You don't think this was supposed to happen at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now for me,
because if Joe Biden doesn't come out and say this, then all of the other politicians you've seen today make the same. You know how they've got their COVID post? Oh, I got COVID. Luckily, I'm vaxxed and boosted, and fucking I've got 6 dildos up my ass or whatever they say. I can't remember. They get a tagline from whomever runs the DNC. They all post the same thing. They just change the wording up a little bit. Same thing with the original. They all shared his letter that he posted with the same, like, oh, Joe Biden's a hero, was a great president, thanks for stepping away, and now we can move on and beat Donald Trump. It's the same over and over. This was not supposed to happen. the one where he endorsed Kamala Harris. And what you're seeing in real time right now, it's really fucking funny, actually, because you don't get to see political dirty laundry that often.
Yeah.
What you're seeing is Obama and Hillary fight. This is a proxy war. So Kamala Harris is Ukraine.
Yep.
Right? And Obama is one side and fucking Hillary Clinton's the other side. And they're just having their little proxy war right now. That's all that is.
Well, interestingly, the Obamas didn't offer Kamala their endorsement yet, and Hillary did. Hillary Clinton and Bill did.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Hillary and Bill want Kamala Harris in so they can control her because that's their person, right? But she's not an Obama person. She's a fucking Clinton person. Clinton or Obama, I'm sure, has a person they want to put in there so they can have another puppet for the next 4 to 8 years. But it's going to come to a head. You'll know based on whomever comes out of the gate most popular at the DNC convention in about 3 weeks, who the Obama selection is. That'll be the most popular person. My guess is it'll be Gretchen Whitmer, but we'll see. My second guess is going to surprise you. What I think actually will happen.
Okay.
I think Whitmer would be the logical Democratic choice, but what I think is actually going to happen is going to surprise you.
Who do you think that will be?
We'll get there.
All right, because when I saw this, I thought the same thing of this was Joe's final fuck you to the Democratic Party, and in particular, the Obamas. Now, if you remember, in 2016, he was supposed to be the guy. They moved him out of the way. They got Hillary in. He was pissed off about it, ran in 2020. He was the guy, did not want to get out of this race, and was eventually pushed out at the very end when there was no path to victory and the money was drying up for him. Him endorsing Kamala Harris throws everything into a tailspin because now every pundit that's been on television, every senator, Hillary, everybody else who has already come in and endorsed her will have to walk that back in essentially 25 days at the Democratic convention.
If Harris is not nominated.
Right.
Which she may be, right?
Well, she should be. I don't know how you skip over the Vice President of the United States, who was a black female, when you've ran on that your entire campaign.
Yeah, but it's like the line that the DNC will feed to the voters is that it's for you to decide. Get on the phone, call your delegates, let them know what you think of these 3 candidates or however many it is, and then they'll decide. It's not us. It's not Hillary and Barack. We're not Pelosi. We're not involved in any of that. It's the delegates that control all this. It's not us, right? So if she gets skipped over, it's for the good of the party. You understand? Democracy will end if we don't win this election. So if the voters think if that's the person they're going to vote for, whomever it happens to be, then that's the person we have to put up. It doesn't matter how we feel about things. Sometimes you have to put your own feelings aside and do what's best for the party and the country.
This hasn't been a democracy the entire time, though, on the left. There was nobody else in the primary. You wouldn't even let RFK in the debate or run on the Democratic side of things.
There's never any.
You pushed your own candidate out.
There's never anyone in a primary against an incumbent, though. Like, not really.
Why not? He's an 82-year-old guy. This is the one time you should have done it.
There's definitely precedent for it. It's happened before.
It's happened before.
But it is not common. I think in this case, it would have been a very good decision.
Yes.
Right. And I think
we all knew the state he was in.
It's easy to say that now after he's dropped out, I guess. But we've been saying this for 4 years that he was unfit for service. So.
Yeah, that's all fine. I'm just saying, like, I've seen that narrative a lot today where it's like on both sides, which is like, oh, the delegates chose him and now you're going to go against it. Or like, why wasn't there a primary? And it's like, what happened was pretty normal for an incumbent president.
Sure, yeah, that part of it was. The fact that he has vascular dementia is not so normal.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
But then again, you could have made the same argument in 1984.
Yeah.
Reagan was starting to become a space cadet, and I believe he had the largest electoral college win ever, right?
He only lost one state, Minnesota, which was, I think, Dukakis?
Mondale.
Mondale's home state. Yeah.
I think it's the largest sweep ever, right? And he was half retarded too. We didn't have social media back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just, if you believe Jack Donaghy, they would give Reagan jelly beans and then do ADR over his mouth moving.
Well, we had that pretty much for the last 4 years for this president.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think they should have been more creative with it, though.
How so?
I mean, if you're gonna fucking fake this whole thing, don't be so obvious about it. It's like you've got your fake White House set up in Delaware or wherever the fuck. All right, whatever, man. It's kind of weird, but whatever. People do weird shit sometimes. I guess at the RNC, they rebuilt part of the White House, I think, right?
Oh, that's cool.
The stage that he was on or whatever, I think was kind of built like that. Whatevs. That's weird. I just want to make it more entertaining. Don't just have him say, Trump racist. Like, say some wild shit, man. Like, hey, you know what we found out? Well, look, you know what? I'm not even going to say. And just walk off. Just do weird shit. I don't know. That's why I don't think any of it was really that fake. Which is interesting because, Bob, can you go to Twitter and search for the phrase cheap fakes? And see if there's anything about this. Oh, it just immediately puts Biden's letter up there.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's interesting.
Sure.
What the fuck?
Sure.
Do you remember what cheap fakes are? Cheap fakes are a new name that's supposed to be associated with deep fakes, which are AI, right?
Yeah.
Making like complete fake news. And a cheap fake is just selectively editing something, cutting it short or jump cutting or whatever else. That's what they called it. And they said that the reason that Biden appeared to have mental issues, right, mental decline, cognitive decline, was because of the cheap fake. It was just the way they were editing the video. That's what they told their voters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, probably could have done a better job about that, frankly.
Well, look, we are sad that a president of the United States is stepping down. We have compiled a short video of Biden's greatest hits. Bob, if you'll play that on screen, that'd be great.
Which
the one I emailed to you. That's just something to remember him for who he was and what he did, and the great work that he did over the last 4 years. Very, very well spoken, man. You go ahead and play this.
Anyway, and I don't want to. Well, maybe choose my words. I was just thinking. Anyway, I just look. I mean, Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. It was in January, after being elected. The late January, early February. He said, it's not, we lead, not just, well, I won't go into it. Here's what drives the driver in the states that are affected. Here's what you can do, the drivers.
4 years we were force-fed this bullshit. 4 years.
For two reasons. One, it's an impact the decades are making, because inaction was there was inaction.
That's just a remix.
Department from.
But 4 years, these motherfuckers lied to us and said he's fine. Joe Scarborough, this is the sharpest Joe Biden he's ever met in his entire life. And he's been best friends with him for 30 years.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, the idea that.
I love when he just gives up and is just like, no.
And words,
Joan,
you know?
Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it right. Shanga. But there's.
Corey Cole gave us $20. Please give this money to Gary to help with his shower. Absolutely not.
No, we won't do that.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm going to use that $20 to further sabotage
I want
it.
to thank you as well for. But the nature, not.
And this one I love because he's just sleeping in the chair at that point, and they woke him up.
America is a nation.
How many times do you think Biden farts himself
word.
awake?
I was going to put him. A solid meeting.
I mean, I've smoked a lot of weed in my life. And I can communicate better than that when I'm really
Los
high.
Angeles and.
But it is similar. It's very similar.
Oh, boy.
What am I doing here? From the.
They made us watch this shit for 4 years.
Yeah.
So we're going to make you watch this shit for...
It's getting a bit tedious at this point.
Growth.
You can kill it here.
Very good point.
This goes on for 30 fucking minutes, guys.
Yeah. I mean,
fucking minutes.
To be frank, the Harris version is not any better. As a matter of fact, it might be worse because she doesn't have dementia. She's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah, Bob, go to Twitter. Second video from the bottom there. I sent you that because this is what we have to look forward to from
and you know, it's part of the narrative. Okay, Corey Cole gives another $20. Okay, take this $20 to further damage Gary's shower. We now have $40 to damage Gary's shower.
Great, and that'll do.
That'll pretty much end it. Nancy Bustle, $50. Did anyone hear about the former MP of Ukraine was assassinated today? Thanks. 2 Sunday shows and real love you guys. Love you too, Nance. No, I didn't hear that. Find the link and post it in the chat and tag us.
Yeah.
So I can look at it, please. Anyways, yeah, she doesn't have dementia. She's just an imbecile. And the one part of the narrative today has been like, oh, Trump's in trouble now. He's going to have to debate Kamala Harris. I'm like, oh, yeah, tell Tulsi Gabbard about that. About how, like, she never in American history, never once in American, like at least public political history, has a candidate with just 60 seconds ended another candidate's fucking attempt to become president. Never before in American history. And Tulsi Gabbard did it. And she was, to be fair, she's a friend of ours, but she was irrelevant to that race. Right. All she did was, it wasn't about popularity or anything. She just pointed out a couple of facts and Kamala Harris was done.
She was the first person out in the Democratic primary. Now could potentially run for president of the United States. As a repube, I want her in. Oh, yeah. I want her to run. Please. This is way better than Biden. I mean, I can't fucking wait for this. I am all in on this.
That's another part of the narrative today. It said, oh, Republicans are mad Biden's gone. Now they got to deal with Harris. Like,
no, that's what we wanted. That's what I wanted.
What world are you living in?
I wanted this. This is what I really wanted. What I don't want is Michelle Obama or Gretchen Whitmer. I don't want that. I want her.
Well, Big Mike's not going to do it because he's worried somebody's going to discover that hog. You can only hide it for so long.
That's true.
One Shot Okie gave us $2. Send this to Gary's kid. No, we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that either.
And then Joe Speck gave us another $2. Gary's kid is better off.
True, he sure is. And with his mom.
Lucas, Biden woke up from a nap and found out he dropped out. That's probably true. I really do think that's true.
That's the best statement I've heard today. Yeah. Now, if you're wondering what Kamala is going to run on, Bobby, go ahead and play this video right here.
She's going to run on being unburdened by what has been.
And be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be.
She's perfect.
Unburdened by what has been.
She's perfect.
What can
it's
be
Veep. It's Veep.
Unburdened by what has been.
This is what you should say.
She should unburden them titties.
What can be.
That's the only shot there.
Unburdened by what has been.
If she starts an OnlyFans, then I might vote for her. We'll see.
Unburdened by who we have been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What could be unburdened by what had been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can
Is it
be
trademarked? Does she have to say it?
I don't know. You can stop it because it goes on for like 20 minutes.
This goes on for another half hour as well.
Here's what I think that is. Do you remember when Mike Tyson got out of prison? Mm-hmm. And he apparently took like a GED class while he was in prison.
When he was incarcerated?
Yeah. And he learned some new words.
Sure did.
And then every interview he gave for like the next 10 years, whether it was a boxing interview or not, he was just using he was just like wedging as many fucking vocabulary words into his fucking statement as possible. That's what this is. Somebody said that in front of her and she goes, "Oh, that sounds really, so I'm going to make that mine." She's like a comedian that stole a joke.
Nothing wrong with the catchphrase.
I was going to say, like, the phrase itself is fine.
Yeah. It means what exactly?
It's the repetition of it.
Yeah, it's like you need a new line.
Did I do that? It's like Urkel. If you keep saying it, maybe people will wait for it. Yeah, and then at the speeches she gives, maybe there'll be a grand, applause, and then she'll be, "All right, are you with me? We're unburdened by what has not been." And people go bug fuck. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
You could use the line, but yeah, it's a lot.
Strangle Baiting gave us $5. Dry scrub daddies give better heed than Kamala. I have no idea what that means.
No idea.
I don't know what a dry scrub daddy is.
And it's a Sunday. People are fucked up. Bob, do you know what a dry scrub daddy is?
Greg LaMontagne says Dan's
Bob
beard
is saying
great.
yes. He
That's
knows
correct.
what that is.
Your beard or my beard?
What a dry
Good question.
scrub
They're both
daddy.
nice, so I don't think it's
The scrub daddy.
That's a child's smiley face.
Donnie the
No,
couch.
it's a stupid sponge. You put it in.
yeah, it's
fucking,
for washing dishes and shit.
yeah.
Okay.
And it is smiley. I don't know for whatever reason, but you put it in like you know those handle things. Put a sponge on. You fucking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if it's dry, I guess the thrust of this is that it would be uncomfortable to put your penis in, which I would agree with based on my experience having touched one of these. Not with my penis, but
Bob,
with my
nobody
hands.
believes you. Nobody believes
no
that.
one believes you, Bob.
Donnie the Couch, RFK come out of nowhere and steal the nomination. I think that is impossible just because Obama's in charge and he
Yeah.
hates RFK.
Yep.
But if we were running like real, if everything was normal in America, maybe. Skinny Pimp's Barbecue says Trump-Harris debate on September 10th. So let's go through some of the logistics here. The DNC convention starts August 19th, 19 through 22, where no matter what happens between then and now, by the 22nd, we'll know who the candidate is. They'll decide and they'll choose somebody. They will have 3 weeks roughly to prepare to debate Donald Trump.
But that puts you almost at 60 days out at that point. Wouldn't it behoove you to have a candidate before then?
It would, yeah, but I don't know how you do it because you have primary votes. A certain number of delegates get assigned based on those votes, and then those delegates go to the convention and cast their vote on the last day of the convention and nominate the president.
So walk us through this here, because if Biden has endorsed her, let's say Obama has, and then Hillary's do everything else, the states still have to, on top of that can't just be the nominee at that point?
Well, so technically, the DNC can do whatever it wants. The DNC can tell all the voters from all the primaries this year, you know what, we changed our mind. We're going in a different direction, right? And the voters might be butthurt about that, but there's nothing illegal about it. There's no law governing how either the political parties nominate their candidate. They can do it however they want. So technically, even if none of this shit had happened, you could have gone to the convention. The DNC powers that be could have said, you know what, we're going to fire all of the delegates that showed up here and hire and bring in new ones to nominate whomever we want. That would be perfectly legal. Now, whether it's morally correct or not, obviously, is a different question. But more legally, it's perfectly fine to do that.
But the optics of it would look terrible, because we've seen a little bit of jockeying in the past where a couple delegates at the last minute say, I'm throwing I think it was Bernie Sanders in 2016, where they were like, no, I'm going to vote for Bernie. If everybody's running around and all these states are shouting out different names on that day, live on television, which is live across every single network, doesn't that throw your party into more chaos than it already is?
Yeah, which is why I think that Harris will probably, I think it's going to go exactly like I said, which is that they're going to put Harris out there to take the hit. She's going to get wiped out. Her career's over. They don't have to worry about her in 28. They start over fresh with Whitmer and Newsom probably. Right?
Okay.
I mean, it's 4 years, a long time. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But that's what I would do, right? I think that is the smartest move. And it's, again, yeah, you're right. Showing up to an open convention, like a lot of people, a lot of the fanboys, a lot of the celebrities like Mark Ruffalo and that old fucking Gaylord from Star Trek.
George Takei.
Yeah,
the one who fucked young kids.
They've been. I think he was actually exonerated for that. But
was he?
Yeah.
Well, the kid just turned 18. Was his 18th birthday?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Happy birthday.
They've been pining for that. Let's just Biden step away. We'll have an open convention and choose somebody. And blah blah blah. They still think there's some democratic process at work here, which is really it's cute that they think that. But you're right. That would throw everything into chaos. There's no way. It's one thing to have a whip and to go around before a vote happens in Congress or Senate, whip the vote, make sure you've got the votes, and then go to the floor and vote so you don't get embarrassed, right? Because you don't want to put up something for a vote and lose your own vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the DNC has a favorite, it's going to become clear. People will leak that information. And if that favorite goes to the floor, the delegates don't vote for him, they're fucked. I mean, that's way worse than just putting Harris out and letting her lose.
I agree. And then also, how do you book guests to speak for that entire week? We just watched the RNC last week. It's a 4-day process. every day there's about 4 or 5 hours booked out for guests. What are the guest speakers and celebrities supposed to say if they don't know who the candidate is?
Just talk about the issues like immigration and the economy.
But for what candidate?
No candidate. So here's the difference, and I'm being silly right now because they lose on all the issues, right? Here's the difference. The Republicans could have gone into the convention without a president and only talked about the issues, as it were, not funding Ukraine, stopping illegal immigration, fucking stopping inflation, controlling the debt, blah blah blah. Frankly, all of the fucking Project 47 stuff, right? Which is technically Trump's platform, but they could and did in a lot of ways talk about just the issues without having to bring up Trump, because it's not about him. Like, more or less, most people agree with everything he's saying right now, right? It isn't the same on the Democratic side. Like, they've lost on the issues. They can't say, like, Kamala Harris is the border czar, right?
Allegedly.
Like, for real. No, she is. That was her official title as vice president. That was her special project as vice president. How do you run on that? You can't run on law and order because it butts up against the DEI stuff, because that's what got her knocked out of the fucking Democratic primary before, right? When Tulsi lit her ass up.
Bob, go to Twitter. Go to the second video up there. Let's see, third. Forgive me, from the bottom. She didn't go to the border. She's only been, I believe, one time. And when finally called on this in real life, here was finally an honest response here. I think it was Lester Holt. Go ahead and play this.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe.
So
I haven't been a lot of places, Lester. What are you, the place police? The fuck kind of response is that?
So what do you do when you say I've been to the border and I'm the border czar? I don't think you can just stand on stage and openly lie about that one.
Jonathan says, hold on, I just lost it. Unburdened by what has been is the fancy post-nut clarity.
That's true.
I like that.
That's true.
DB Cooper gave $2 to Gary. That's for us.
DB Cooper's not alive.
Ted Cross, $20. Make that shower like Gaza, 100%.
Yeah,
we're gonna fuck that thing up so bad. I mean, honestly, we may end up burning his goddamn house down. Cindy Reza, $25. Fuck Gary's shower. No enabling that POS.
Yeah, I like that too.
You got to remember, this is Gary's shower, so you might just be unburdening it.
No. He's got a house. He actually has a house.
I know.
That's Joel's shower out back.
No, I know, but I'm saying, what do you think has happened in that shower? What do you think that shower is?
He allegedly had a plumber over to fix it yesterday or something.
Yeah, that's not true.
I don't believe any of that.
He stinks. I can fucking
Are we
smell
sure
him.
Gary has a house?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It definitely exists. Yeah,
Or he's squatting in one.
That could be true as well.
Yes.
I know there's lizards all over it.
There's a ton of them.
JP says, what are the odds Judge Joe Brown becomes Kamala's VP running mate? Maybe. I mean, maybe they get a WWE person too, like Dave Bautista, super liberal.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
You need a classic. Actually, you know who is liberal, like in real life?
Who's that?
I think Stone Cold is kind of liberal, from what I've heard.
Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah.
I would end my life live on air if that was true.
I know it sounds weird. I was
Stone
just
Cold
watching.
Steve Austin? I would lose every fucking ounce of shit inside my body live on air if that was true. If I was smashing beers and drinking them all over my face like that, dude, for years, supporting Stone Cold's liberalism, I would lose my fucking mind. God damn it, man. That would suck. Who is going to be the VP, though?
We'll get there. So, couple more. Let's see. Messed up. The first donation, but here's $5 more for Dan to be Kamala's VP. I'd do it.
Would you really?
Yeah, I'd run the fuck out of that campaign.
But who is it?
My book, GJJB says, my bookie dropped Kamala from the board a few hours ago, and Hillary jumped from plus 5,000 to plus 2,500. It will not be Hillary Clinton. I don't know where this is.
Well, she just endorsed
Kamala
earlier.
This is coming from people like fucking Laura Loomer, who just says, like, one person who knows somebody who's a staffer will tell her something. She's like, that's true. And then she tells it, and everybody else starts repeating it, and it comes from, it's like the Steele dossier. It's single source information. It's never right. Ever.
Laura Loomer is the new Ann Coulter for our generation.
Yeah, she's just a fucking mong. Let's see. Enchiladas paying Dan for his what the fuck? Paying Dan for his banger tweet replies. Thank you very much. $20. I'll also be using that to fuck over Gary somehow.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
That really is all we're doing. But who do you got as the VP here? A lot of people.
I don't know why you keep asking me
Shapiro, because I want to know.
I don't think
if it is Kamala, who do you got there?
I don't think it'll be Kamala.
You don't think it's going to be Kamala Harris at all?
No. If Kamala Harris is okay, so think of it this way: the only way Kamala stays there is if they are indeed punting. That's the only way she stays there, because the voters are not going to choose her. They've already had that chance. She was polling at less than 2% when she dropped out. Less than 2%.
I understand, but celebrities, everybody else, seem to love her online.
No, they're just repeating what the talking point is right now. That's all. That's just noise. Don't pay any attention to that shit. If my supposition is correct, and they're trying to jettison Harris, they're throwing her into an unwinnable fight to let her take the hit and get her the fuck out, then who will be her VP comes down to who else with national notoriety, like somebody who would make sense as a VP, but also that the DNC hates or Obama hates and wants to get out of the way, because he's going to throw them on that ticket too and let them get fucked up. Probably like somebody like Buttigieg or something like that.
He was mentioned today.
Somebody with national recognition who has no chance at federal politics at all, right?
Yep.
I think decent chance it's him, but I don't. Again, I
then you get a black and a gay.
Yeah.
For the Democratic Party, and I think that fits everything right up until the election, and then you can move forward in 2028 and say, all right, that didn't work.
But I don't think that Kamala Harris is going to be the choice. We'll see. A lot of things are in motion right now.
If I were them, I would probably put Shapiro on there and try to get Pennsylvania.
He's not going to run.
I don't think he is either. But
he's not an idiot.
I don't think he or Newsom or Whitmer. I don't
think he's a name enough.
No, Shapiro's a name enough. I don't think those three governors, I don't think are dumb enough to jump onto this ticket that they know is going to lose. They don't want to ruin their chances in 28, because all three of those people are legit contenders in 28.
Do you have to step down as governor to run for VP with 90 days left?
There are plenty of people who have run, lost, and stayed right in their position.
But he's also could potentially run 4-8 years from now. He's not going to.
Yeah, he's not going to. Same with Newsom, same with Whitmer. I don't think they'll do it.
Okay.
That would be a huge mistake, unless they are the nominee. And even then, I don't know if I would take it. That's why I think the options are severely limited.
Okay. Buttigieg would make the most sense then. If you're looking to just throw away an entire ticket, throw him on there. He's been awful as Secretary of Transportation.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Because he is a pretty well-spoken dude. He just he sucks and his record sucks, so it's easy to hammer him, right? It's a shallow goodness for him, right? It's all appearance. Once you dig past his fucking quippy remarks, there's no substance to any of his policies. He's a fucking retard, right?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't work for them.
If it's not going to be Kamala Harris, and Hillary Clinton's out, like you said, and she endorsed Kamala Harris earlier today, who would be the candidate? Michelle Obama?
No. WT back, which I assume means wetback.
Sure.
Which is racist. Yeah. Says Kamala will choose Hillary for show. I don't think so. Dildo T. Baggins. Hilarious.
Great.
Very good name. What's the over-under on how many times these times is? I guess he did that to be fucking, what's his name? The little fucking troll from Lord of the Rings. Gollum.
Yeah.
How many times is Biden will forget he dropped out between now and November 5th? I don't think we'll see Biden again in public after this speech he's going to give on Thursday.
Okay, the speech is going to be on Thursday. That's confirmed?
I think so, yeah.
Why didn't he give it tonight? A lot of people were asking why not go tonight on a Sunday night.
Oh, well, he's not awake.
So you think he was just sleeping all the way around in Delaware, and they were like, all right, let's save this for the end of the week? Because for me, I thought that was odd, because that still gives you 4 more days that you could use on the new candidate, whoever that is. I would go in front of the nation and make a speech tonight. It's Sunday night. Nothing's going on. British Open ended early today. Just a bunch of reruns. You're in the middle of the summer. Now would be a perfect time to do it.
One, it's not going to be live. They'll record it earlier in the day, in the middle of the day, so he's at least seemingly awake, right? And then they'll just publish it probably at, I would say, 8 Eastern.
It's usually 8 o'clock, yeah, prime time.
Evil Abe Lincoln, donation for backyard wrestling ladder match between Gary and Joel. I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Although we do pay for their health insurance, so maybe I should be opposed to it. We have really good health insurance.
I think they're fine.
All right. Strangle baiting, sorry for misspelling, hard to type, and strangle bait by myself. Spotter called off sick. That's too bad.
Yeah, that is too bad.
You should be careful. let's see. Harris, Nunnally says Harris needs a WWE star. Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah, you're right. I don't think Steve Austin is liberal, though.
Booker T. Washington, it's got to be black if you're going WWE. It's a speech.
Yeah, so one shot, okay, I stand with Gary. We don't. Retester's Taliban beard. What?
Tell me who the fucking candidate's going to be.
Bob,
I'm not going to ask one more time.
Bob, go to email and click the first of those 2 links I just sent you to Drinkin' Bros.
We're not Tim Pool, for Christ's sakes. Tell me who the fucking candidate's going to be in this.
So I got a message earlier today from someone who knows this sort of thing. And just to be clear, I've been right about a few things lately.
You've been on fire.
Yeah. So he called and said that the DNC is interviewing Mitt Romney sometime Wednesday or Thursday to be the Democratic nominee for president.
Now, I read this Aaron Sorkin opinion, this op-ed piece in the New York Times today, where he said, fuck it, let's just...
He's retracted that, by the way. He got in trouble. The DNC handlers reached out to him. He wasn't supposed to make that public. That's what I think.
Well, the New York Times made it public.
Yeah, but well, he wrote an op-ed. I don't think the New York Times was involved. They just published what was a compelling op-ed. I don't think that he's been a conduit for DNC politics for years, right? For since the 90s.
Well, he mentioned the Uniparty in this.
Yeah.
And he said, now's the perfect time to get a Republican in there.
Yeah.
Democrats and celebrities, everybody was pretty pissed off about it today. Nobody, including myself, view this as a real possibility.
So put this up. West Wing creators spin scenario to save Democrats. Nominate Mitt Romney to stop dangerous imbecile Trump. People thought it was just him. He's a creative guy, right?
Very smart. One of the very best writers there is. I'll give him that.
One of the best writers of television that I've ever seen. Yes.
Correct. And films, wrote The Social Network as well.
So
I'll say specifically maybe the best monologue writer.
Certainly.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm going to revoke that because he wrote The Newsroom, and that show
The Newsroom is an absolute dog shit.
I love The Newsroom.
That fucking show blows.
I loved it. I love The Newsroom.
America, the best country on earth.
But that's him in real life.
Yeah.
So what you were seeing is actually him in real life and what he believes in.
Yeah. So anyways, I can confirm that the DNC is 100% interviewing Mitt Romney to be their candidate.
Why?
I don't know how far it's going to go, but they are 100% interviewing him to be their candidate.
I can't even wrap my mind around
Here's why, whether they'll say it or not. The current neocon party are just Democrats from the 1990s. They want war all the time. They want a nation build. Remember, I know we've memory hold this, but regardless of what he did after he won, George W. Bush ran on a campaign of not nation building. Monroe Doctrine. We're not getting involved in anybody's bullshit anymore. We're not going to wars. We're not building nations. That was the Democrats that did that, right? All through the 20th century. Every major war was started by a Democrat or joined by a Democrat. Every one of them. Mm-hmm. So the repubes wanted to back off of that. Now they just became Democrats, right? What happened when George W. Bush and all these people that support him, Mitt Romney, fucking Bill Kristol, all these pundits, right? All these neocon pundits, what happened when they took power? They immediately fucking went to war. They presided over the largest expansion of the federal government in history. They tightened the security state and they broadened the domestic surveillance program. All leftist bullshit.
So with the George W. Bush thing, the Iraq War, obviously mistake. But what was and the end game they decided on in Afghanistan was a mistake. But
no, Afghanistan was always a mistake.
Even going in there at all to get Bin Laden.
Yep.
What would you have done? I'm genuinely curious.
I would have sent special operators and planes and destroyed what I needed to destroy. Right. So, and then we said this from the very beginning. There was no point for mass troop deployments to Afghanistan. It didn't make any sense. There's no version of us deploying a bunch of white faces with American flags to the mountains of Afghanistan and convincing these people to want democracy. They want to be left the fuck alone.
I agree the nation building was a mistake, but
we weren't at war with the Taliban,
What
Bob.
was the capability?
The Taliban didn't attack us on 9/11. It was Al-Qaeda.
But they were also not going to grant us access, right, to go hunt Bin Laden.
We don't need their access.
Well,
they had no air defense. They didn't have shit. We could have just flown over them.
I understand that, but what did we need to do to be able to get in there?
Exactly
stick to
what we
hunting?
did in Project Anaconda.
Okay, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking. Like, I'm
yeah.
just curious because I don't know.
So our Operation Anaconda, you can buy that book by the same name, by the way, and see all the details of that case. Within 3 or 4 days of 9/11, there were agency operators and Tier 1 operators in the mountains of Afghanistan linking up with the Northern Alliance and blowing people up, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. We never should have deployed to Afghanistan. I mean, we spent 20 years in Afghanistan, and we went from the Taliban government to another Taliban government.
So
all that really happened was we gave them $90 billion worth of equipment when we left.
Given like the tech at the time and stuff like that, because obviously we weren't as capable then as we are now to do certain things. What would have been an appropriate number of troops sent to Afghanistan?
I wouldn't have sent any to be there all the time.
Like
I would have stationed troops in Pakistan, and I would have stationed troops elsewhere around Afghanistan, but not in Afghanistan.
Okay.
Very similar to what we're doing in Ukraine.
Right. So what's the deployment? What's the appropriate amount of deployment? Because you need, I assume you would need more personnel back then than you need now to accomplish something.
Not necessarily. I mean, I guess in the non-combat theater deployment, like let's say for the people that we would send to Kuwait instead of into Iraq, maybe drone operators and shit like that. Like right now, all of our drone operators for the major drones are out of Creech Air Force Base in North Vegas, right? Like you've seen the second or the
Jack Ryan,
first season, the first season or the second season?
I think it was second season.
Yeah, second season of Jack Ryan. That's real. The Creech Air Force Base is where all that happens. That's not classified or anything. Now you would have to deploy more of those people. But, you know, there's no fucking need to send the 82nd Airborne or 101st out on foot patrols in the mountains of Afghanistan. It's fucking stupid, right? Like we use radar, ISR, and bombs to deal with that shit. There's no point in going up there.
Mitt Romney did release a statement about an hour ago, and I'll read that. I'm a classic Republican, and he's a classic Democrat, meaning Biden. Obviously, President Biden and I usually didn't see eye to eye. I oppose many of his initiatives, but we did find common ground on infrastructure, Ukraine, the Electoral Count Act, adding religious liberty protections to the marriage bill, gun safety measures, and
Citizens United. Hell yeah, brother. That was Mitt Romney, by the way. Citizens United. It was the Koch brothers who wrote that model legislation in the first place, and it was Mitt Romney who pushed it over the finish line. The reason that our republic is for sale right now is because of Mitt goddamn Romney.
He also goes on to say, in chip manufacturing, others will judge his presidency. However, having worked with him these past few years, I respect President Biden. His decision to withdraw from the race was right and is in the best interest of the country. Ann and I send warm personal wishes to the president and the first ladies. Why was it in the best interest of the country?
So we've got some interesting paradigms in the last couple of weeks, right? Like, how do you hold both of these beliefs at the same time? It's a good thought experiment to have. Can you hold these two beliefs at the same time? Can you simultaneously think that Donald Trump is Hitler and a threat to democracy and that America will end should he be elected, and also think that he should have a speedy recovery? Can you believe both of those things simultaneously and be a genuine human being? I don't think so, right? I think those are two competing ideas that have no home together. Can you believe that Biden has been and can continue to serve the function of president despite not being capable mentally now of even running for president again? I don't believe those two things are congruous either. I don't think you can believe both of those things at the same time and be a rational human being, right? Those two things are at odds with one another. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm cold and I'm hot. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So these people are full of shit. Now, look, I'm not saying that Mitt Romney is going to be the nominee for the Democrats for president, but I'm telling you 100% certainly they are interviewing him this week for that job.
That would be the ultimate shocker of ultimate shockers.
It's not that shocking, though. Again,
wrap my mind around it. As a lifelong Republican who just switched and recently came out against Trump,
sure,
I just can't see the Democrats getting on board for a lifelong Republican who has also run as president as a Republican against Obama.
He wouldn't be the first person to run for president in 2 separate parties either.
Who would that be?
Well, I mean, fucking Strom Thurmond did it a couple times.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt as well.
I mean,
Bull News, technically, yeah.
Republicans were gassing him up like, yo, Republican guy. Well, he got shot and kept going. He wasn't a Republican when he got shot.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Republicans, I pull every stitch of footage from his speeches against Obama in 2012 and then run those on repeat over and over and over again.
It doesn't.
I don't see how a Democrat could get behind Mitt
I don't
Romney.
think he was super rude to Obama, though. Like, he wasn't. It wasn't a campaign like the one that even McCain ran, although McCain was kind of a pussy about it too. But it was nothing like what people are used to Trump now. Somebody who just speaks plainly, and if he wants to insult you, he's going to go ahead and do it. That's not how Romney ever operated. He's always been pretty polite when it comes to politics.
Here is the this was going viral right before the Trump Biden debate as a like then versus now situation.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jim, for this opportunity. I want to thank Governor Romney and the University of Denver for your hospitality.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon, this man I'm looking at right now. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office.
Thank you, Jim. It's an honor to be here with you, and I appreciate the chance to be with the President.
If you're going to speed it up like a chipmunk.
And congratulations to you, Mr. President, on your anniversary. I'm sure this was the most romantic place you could imagine, here with me. So congratulations.
Having sex.
That being, they're like, oh, hey, buddy,
so
it's nice to be.
This is the video of Romney and Obama. That is the illusion you've been sold as choice for the last 100 years in American politics. It is the aristocracy deciding who your leader is going to be, and it doesn't really matter what you think, right? Because we're all part of the same fucking club, and it all does make sense that they would select Romney, right? Because, again, as I've said, the neocon people from the last 20 years, they're just 80s and 90s Democrats. That's where the Overton window is now. And that's what they want to get back to. That was the most profitable time in the history of the Democratic Party. It's gone downhill rapidly since, right? Because the Repubes had been the nation-building military-industrial complex company, right? Now, the Dems got a little bit of it back with Ukraine, but they know they can't win right now. They think that maybe running a moderate is going to be something that can help them, right? Steal one of theirs. Look, even a Republican is running against Donald Trump. That's what they want the narrative to be. Because otherwise, there's no good narrative for them. There really isn't. I mean, the only thing... I don't know that under any circumstances Kamala Harris could win against anybody, frankly, for president. But I have heard some people talking about Biden stepping down as president, so on the campaign trail, she's referred to as Madam President. That's the only way I could see her even getting close, but even then, I don't think so. I think that would be read as a disingenuous move, and I don't think it'll happen. And I also think that Biden is way too stubborn to do that.
Yeah, and we got some breaking news here from Reuters. All 50 Democratic Party state chairs have thrown their weight behind Vice President Kamala Harris to be the party's new presidential nominee. The chairs held a conference call on Sunday nights after President Joe Biden announced he was stepping aside as the party's candidate. There was full support in backing Harris to be top of the ticket, one source said. That's according to Reuters. I just don't know how you get her out of the way.
This is just my opinion, but the only person that could have made that happen is Barack Obama. Hillary doesn't have the juice at the DNC like that anymore.
Well, do you think they was forced into a corner here?
I don't think
Joe's.
I don't think forced into a corner.
Announcement.
I've been saying this for months now. I think this is the plan: is to put Harris out there, let her take the hit, and get her out of politics. Right.
And also, by the way, like we're talking about this all like, oh, Democrats across the nation, like who would want to vote for or whatever. It matters in 3 states. 3 states to get to 270.
Where? All the Michigan, Pennsylvania.
And Wisconsin.
Yeah. She's not winning Wisconsin. That's over.
But that all I'm
Pennsylvania's
saying is,
a toss-up, but Michigan, they're down 10 points right now.
They were never going to win Georgia twice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Arizona could be, but that's probably going to go Trump.
Yep.
Nevada, whatever. That's not even 10 electoral votes. I mean, it's not
they won't have their votes in until 26, so it doesn't matter.
Right. If they win everything Biden won, and then lose those states, but keep Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, that's 270 on the nose. That's all that matters. Dumping as much money as possible into those 3 states, campaigning as much as possible in those 3 states.
Then that leaves you with 2 options for VP. Shapiro or Gretchen Whitmer, if you believe that.
You got to get somebody to take that job.
I don't think it's believe that. I think that's just the reality because there's only like 5. I don't even think Georgia's a toss-up state. Like,
well,
Georgia
because Buttigieg is Indiana, so that's not going to fucking help.
Well, he's not.
Shapiro would help with Pennsylvania, certainly. Delco, you know your state better than us. Do people like him as governor there? I've never heard his name until about 2 months ago, so I don't know anything about him.
You know why he's popular in Pennsylvania? Because you never heard his name.
True. So then for me, that would leave you with 2 options. And look, Whitmer's pretty fucking famous. So like that, you put 2 women on a ticket, hammer the abortion issue. You would probably have Michigan, unless you believe what our listeners have said from Michigan. That's everybody does hate her there. But my response to that is, well, why'd you reelect her? So I don't know. But if you put 2 women on a ticket, would that sway female suburban voters to vote for the first female all-party ticket? Because that's never happened in our lifetime.
No, that'll never happen. By the way, Shapiro's approval rating in Pennsylvania is 48%.
It's not bad.
It's not great.
Yeah, but it's not bad. It's not terrible.
That's like a toss-up. That is not great. That's not like support of him. That's just like nothing's bad happening that sucks right now in our state. Nothing that we can blame on the governor. That's basically what that says. It's about average 45 to 40. Or sorry, 45 to 48 is about average for somebody that's not hated. Anything under that is pretty rough. Like Kamala Harris is 37% like nationally, which is not great. That's in a big poll too.
So according to, I think, ABC News, I guess this might be a 538 thing because they used to be ABC News. He is the 7th most popular governor in the country.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Delaware, Utah, Vermont, Maryland, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire above him.
Yeah, I would believe that. 48's decent. It's like nothing to complain about, I guess. Like somebody that's a popular governor is going to have like 52%, and he's at 48. So that's not bad. 48's not bad.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that 48 delivers the state, though, frankly. We'll see. And I don't know. I think he would be, to Delco's point from before, I think any of these people would be out of their goddamn minds to take that VP slot. I mean, that's like...
I agree. But if you could go back to your own state, though, and he has no aspirations of potentially running in 28, then...
He definitely wants to run for president.
Okay.
And
he's young enough to do 28 or 30.
Right. He's a young dude.
That's what I was saying the other day about the Democrat farm system. They actually have a lot of youngish people very close to
You don't throw it away right now.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But to me, there's so many people on the left that could potentially run there. Would it matter if it wasn't him? I mean, I still got Hakeem Jeffries on my bingo card there for 28 potentially as well. Also, Donald Trump just posted here that now that Joe has not surprisingly quit the race, I think the next debate with whomever the radical left Democrats choose should be held on Fox News rather than the very biased ABC. So he wants to go on and change it since, the last time. I mean, he essentially ceded and went to fucking CNN for that one. Why not? You can call the shots, especially with 90 days left. Fuck it. You might as well, I guess. But here's what she's going to be up against. And Bob, go to your Twitter and pop up that video from Tulsi Gabbard going after her in the last debate. This was over in roughly a minute. And this ended her presidential candidacy back then.
She's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Senator Harris says...
I wish her the best in that debate, but it'll be fun. I'd love to see it on Fox. And then more breaking news. This is just fucking madness here. Sources close to Senator Joe Manchin, independents of West Virginia, say he's considering re-registering as a Democrat and throwing his hat into the ring for president of the United States as a Democrat?
That's not going to happen.
What?
I mean,
fuck.
It is. I'm not saying he didn't say it or his team didn't see it, but it's a test balloon. You run that stuff up the flagpole and see how it plays out.
Now,
but to my knowledge, he's hated in the Democratic Party, right?
He can't, under no circumstance. So, like, if you're going to have somebody come across the aisle like that, it has to be somebody that's going to get a lot of Republican voters, which maybe he would, right? Not against Trump, frankly, he's not going to, but you need somebody like that. And you also need somebody who's going to energize the Democratic base. It isn't going to be a fucking political carpetbagger who's left the party coming back into the party. There's no fucking way, dude.
Which is why
this is one of the things
I can't see Mitt Romney there in a million years.
No, Mitt Romney makes sense, actually, because he's left the Republican Party.
I think he's still registered as a Republican.
It doesn't
right?
matter. That doesn't matter. He's left them in all but name.
The thing that makes the most sense on the Joe Manchin thing is that this is the only chance he'd have to run for president.
Yeah.
But
he's out anyways, right? So
I mean,
fuck it.
maybe he tries to throw some weight around in the primary, but to be honest, this is Manchin throwing his name into the ring because he's got a loyal following and he wants to use that following to buy something for himself or his district. That's all it is.
Okay. And then, Bob, I just sent you a video here from Mayor Eric Adams where it appears as if he's not endorsing Kamala Harris.
I mean, he doesn't know where the fuck he is right now. They just figured out trash cans 2 weeks ago.
Play this video. What is happening here?
Sources close to Senator Joe Manchin say that he is now considering re-registering as a Democrat to throw his hat in the ring. Do you support that?
Well, what I support, I support the beauty of the frictionless process or the friction process of democracy. This is democracy, and we should be proud that every time we change power, we do it in a peaceful way, and whomever wants to run, they should have a right to do so, and we make the decision who the best to represent our party.
All right. Well, Mayor Adams, I appreciate your time. We all do. Thank you so much.
So there's no endorsement from him either.
No.
If I'm Trump, just looking at the last 3 weeks, you won a debate, you knocked out the candidate you were going against, you survived a fucking assassination attempt.
Mm-hmm.
The Democratic Party is floundering. The president has stepped down, which has never happened, right? Or did it happen once? Did LBJ step down right before an election like this?
LBJ chose not to run again, and he could have. Also, Teddy Roosevelt chose not to run again.
Yeah.
So Teddy Roosevelt had served 7 years, but he ascended to it via assassination. He was a vice president.
Yeah, McKinley got killed. And then he chose Taft to succeed him, basically, as his heir apparent.
Yeah.
Taft didn't want to run. He wanted to fucking be an operative, a political operative, and not be president, but he forced him to do it.
So for the third time in our nation's history this has happened, you're coming off a great RNC. Do you have to do or say anything for the next month at this point?
This is actually, it's happened a couple times if you really think about it. So Washington chose not to run again.
Bob, in our lifetime. Like in our lifetime.
All right,
let's stay
in
here.
our lifetime, yes.
Like George Washington was great, and so were wooden teeth back in the day. But I'm not popping those fuckers in my mouth and going out and chopping down apples. You know
what else this is similar to, though, even though it's not in our lifetime, is because I don't care. Ulysses S. Grant, the Republicans told him, no, you're not running again, bro.
Yeah.
We're fucking sick of you.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Trump, I just sit this out for a month and just say, all right, keep going. That's what's worked for the last 3 weeks.
Trump's got plenty to talk about that doesn't involve any of the candidates, right? He can say all Trump has to talk about is all of the people that have been pretending Joe Biden was cognizant of anything that happened in the last 4 years. That's what he should be talking about nonstop. That and the fact that they left him with some scrub-ass security team. I don't know if you saw this news yesterday. I posted it on Instagram and Twitter, but day one, Bongino puts out information about Secret Service, or the Trump campaign had requested more security for his detail. Secret Service says, no, that's not true, unequivocally, that never happened. Well, it turns out members of Trump's Secret Service detail talked to the press and told them, yeah, that's absolutely true. We've been asking for more resources for 3 or 4 months now. We've been asking for more resources, and we've been shut down at every turn.
So what's the update on it now? Do they actually give him the resources he needs?
That is unclear. I don't know if he has or not, to be honest. We'll find out more tomorrow because the hearings with Cheadle begin tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning?
Yep. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., I believe.
How much worse could this get on a daily basis for the Democrats?
I have no idea. And there's a lot of smoke about her resigning tomorrow, maybe to avoid having to go. I don't know what is going on exactly, so we'll see about that. But Trump can talk about that, right? Because if anybody's got a right to, it's the guy who almost got murdered because of it. And then you can talk about, look, You guys have been saying for months, for years, that Biden is the sharpest he's ever been, that he's okay, that he's doing the job, that he's fulfilling his duty as president of the United States, and you've been lying. And the proof is he just said he's not capable of running for office again, right? Like the jury is now in on this. So who exactly is the president, and who exactly do we need to hold responsible for all of this bullshit that's been going on, right? If it wasn't Biden making these decisions about leaving the border open, right?
Yeah.
About fucking all the other things, about printing more money and all this stuff. Who was it? Who was it? Who do we hold accountable exactly? That's what I want to know.
And then how do you believe the media after the last 4 years of what we've been fed as well? Because that's going to be the other issue with all of this is how do you believe the media for 4 years of saying he's fine, everything's great, he's sick, he's got COVID again, he's taking a vacation, he's taking a nap, he's not feeling well, everything else.
He's got a cold.
He's got a cold.
COVID, yeah, I don't want to. I mean, look, if you believe the media before that, then you got some problems. Right?
No, totally.
The media has been full of shit for a very long time. But I will say this. No one who up until a few weeks ago was pretending Biden was mentally fit to be president or who was stupid enough to believe it should be lecturing anybody on anything political or moral at this point. They put our country in grave danger, right? We've let, at a minimum, 400 known terrorists into this country. Forget about all the rapists that came out of the prisons in El Salvador and shit that are up here now. Literal terrorists have been let into our country over the last 3.5 years. I don't want to hear about it from any of these people, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Trump needs to be talking about. It's the Gelman amnesia effect. Apply that logic to this situation and talk to Democratic voters about it. Like, he's not going to have rallies where they show up. I'm just saying, go on 60 Minutes. Go on 60 Minutes and talk about it if they'll have them. I don't know what they're doing these days, but go on the left-leaning news stations, record everything yourself, right? Be like, that's part of it. I'm going to record this too, just in case you guys try to edit anything out of it. But then sit there in front of those Democratic audiences and say, the people that you trust have been telling you that this man is the sharpest he's ever been. Some people are still doing it.
Yeah.
They've been telling you this for years now, and it's very obviously not true. He has cognitive decline. He has vascular dementia, Parkinson's, whatever it is, and he can't function. You saw it at the debate.
Yeah.
You've seen it with your own eyes now. They can't hide it anymore. These are the people telling you, trust me, just give me a little bit more power and a little bit more of your money, and we'll make everything okay. And that's his message. He doesn't have to talk about it doesn't matter who he's running against, because they fucking failed fundamentally as a party.
Now, out of the Republican side today, a lot of Republicans have said, well, if he's not fit to run for president again, why is he fit to stay president right now and not resign? And why didn't they invoke the 25th Amendment?
It's a good question, because somebody stopped him. I don't know who it was. I mean, I can tell you who the DHS secretary said no. I know that for a fact.
For him stepping down?
Yeah, and I know that Yellen and Buttigieg were maybes. Aside from that, I don't know what anybody else thought. So Buttigieg and Yellen would have voted with the majority, whomever that happened to be. I know that. The rest of the cabinet, they just couldn't marshal enough of the cabinet to vote him out. Or I don't know what happened. Somebody made a call and said, maybe Obama called Kamala and be like, hey, we'll get him out by this week and just relax, because we don't want to fucking have to set a literal precedent. I know Biden dropping out as a precedent, but not the 25th fucking Amendment precedent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's probably what happened.
Well, it would have looked a lot worse.
Yep.
I think, to me, that's that's the death knell if you do that. And then you can always hold that over the party forever of, hey, you're the only one to run a candidate who was 82 fucking years old, that we had to actually invoke the 25th Amendment to pull him physically out of office.
Yeah.
Because we didn't trust him to be there anymore.
That looks bad for everybody. Then you definitely have problems, right? And I don't think they probably didn't want Kamala to be president either. They probably didn't want the first female president to be a gimmick or like an accident or something like that. Frankly, I think that's probably true. But they have messaging problems as well. There's two things going on in politics right now. There are two things going on the right and the left. Right now, the right, there's one ideology consolidating power and kicking anybody else out who doesn't think like that. America first, MAGA, no foreign wars, none of this fucking, what do you call it? Uniparty nonsense, none of this stuff. None of this illegal immigration, none of this. We're done with all that. Fuck off with that neocon bullshit. And there's one dude holding the standard, Trump, and everybody else is getting under it or they're getting the fuck out, right? And then on the other side, you have a party with no identity. They have no identity now. What does the left stand for, really? You've been talking about this for 2 years, about the fracture in the Democratic Party. This is it coming to a head right now. It's the Obama wing, which is all the progressives and all those people, and it's the Clinton wing who are the fucking war hawks. And they are at war right now in front of our very eyes. And I don't know who's going to win, but I know that it looks really bad that one side is all buttoned up and the other side is fucked. So how do you combat something like that? I think the way you combat something like that is to rebrand your party by saying, you know what, we're the ones that speak to all of America, and here's my proof. We're having a guy that used to be a Republican for his whole life. As a matter of fact, his dad was a Republican governor as well of Minnesota for a while. Now, or Michigan rather, now this is our party. We're the Big Tent party. We're the one that represent all these ideas and try to sell that to America.
The wild thing to me is if you go back to 2 years ago, it was the opposite. The Republicans were fractured. A lot of them didn't want Trump. A lot of them came out against Trump and said, we're not having Trump anymore. We need to move on from Trump. And then Trump won, and then it switched. Now Trump's messaging, Vance's messaging, and all these other guys with the America First and we need to be one and everything else, everybody basically had to get in line. And that seemed to be the same way for Biden and the Democrats. Democrats were organized. They had the same message, and then it's split.
That's how it's supposed to work. It's how it's supposed to work. Like, whatever your personal gripes are, you're supposed to fall in line with a party leader, right? That's how it's supposed to work. But it hasn't worked like that in the Democratic Party since the squad showed up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, go back to 4 weeks ago. One bad debate. That was it. Just him standing on stage that night caused all of this shit. If there wasn't a debate that night, and let's say he said no to the debates the same way he did back in the day for I think it was the third one they backed out of or whatever, none of this happens, and he's still there.
Yep.
He's still fucking there. And the press lies, everybody keeps on lying, and they go on about their business. And Joe Biden is the nominee, and then you fight it out in November and see what happens. Now we've got utter fucking chaos.
Yeah, we'll see. Jorge Moreno says, is DNC having hard AF? It's in Illinois. I don't know, actually.
It'll be there in 3 weeks.
It'll
3
be
weeks.
there.
University of Illinois.
It's up to them. I mean, if you're going to go to the DNC, stop by, grab a couple, and head on over, maybe.
Is that what it is? Is it in Chicago?
Chicago, yeah.
Next month?
Mm-hmm. 19 through 22.
Fuck, I think we go live there like the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Just show up with the 16 ounces. Mm-hmm. That's the 16 ounces.
And just chug them. Get fucking hammered. We'll tailgate that thing. Ted Cross, new leaked audio of Kamala's running mate just dropped. Bob, you want to play that?
No, we sure don't have it, Bob. And you're too late on that today, friend. Too late on that today, my man.
Brian S. Gave us $30 for Dan to get the fire department to pressure wash Gary in the parking lot. Bar of soap shall be used. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Perplexed by that says, I'll refund another $1,000 if you never have Gary on the show again.
That's really funny.
We don't need $1,000 that badly, unfortunately. But
David Meyer in the chat says going to be Bernie for VP.
He's too old.
He's older than Biden, right, Bob? I think.
Yeah. But I could see
by a year. Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I could see Romney as president and Shapiro as VP. I could see that, or even Whitmer as VP.
I don't think that the VP nom kills you just based on how slapped together it is. The same way and honestly, when does a VP nom ever kill you? Like Tim Kaine was a useless person anyway. Like
Sarah Palin, but he was already losing pretty bad.
She was a useless person too. And then
we lost.
Well, that's what I'm saying. VP selections that hurt the candidate.
Oh, I'm saying for being a losing VP, I don't think necessarily hurts you for
historically, it's not.
Yeah.
Historically, it's not been a problem. As a matter of fact, fucking Nixon was a VP loser twice, I think, before he ever. Then he lost against JFK. Oh no, once in '56. Then he lost against JFK in '60. Yeah.
Who the fuck was Mike Pence before he was VP?
I don't know.
Yeah,
dude. He was.
True.
He was
I hated that pick.
He was on.
Fucking hated that pick.
Fucking Johnny Quest or some shit. He played the dad. David Weiss says Harris has to be on the ticket to keep the war chest. Also, Ross.
Oh yeah, that's a great point.
It's about 124 million right now.
That's left in the war chest.
So yeah, actually both both sides have put together legal teams to try to find out what the actual legality of this is. So they're both getting ready to sue each other, basically.
Harris and Biden?
No. Harris and the Republicans.
Oh, how does that work?
I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that both have instructed their legal teams to look into what the actual legality is of passing that money to her, because they're not sure that Harris can even keep it right now. So who knows?
Because according to ABC News, and look, take this for what it's worth, I know, but they said that since the announcement that Biden was dropping out, that they've already raised $25 million for her. I can't confirm
that. Might be true in a PAC somewhere, but not in their campaign fund.
Okay,
it couldn't be. I mean, that would be stupid. He also says, "Ross, do you even work out, bro?"
You're kidding. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? I'll go fucking full Hulk Hogan here today, dude. God damn it. You won't.
Sean Reyes says, let Meek Mill and Diddy tear up Gary's bathroom. I don't know that that's going to make it worse. I know Gary. I'm sure worse things have happened in his bathroom than that.
Yeah.
To be honest. Corey Cole, again, my boy Charles L. in Holly Springs, North Carolina, shit his pants at Home Depot today.
No shit.
Thanks for... You should have gone with the full last name, to be honest. But
yeah, I would have said his full last name there. That happens, man. Look.
Yeah.
According to
you
George
get one a
Brett,
year.
Yeah, you're good.
You get
good
one
for
a year.
One a year.
Sean, he actually said
man
that.
And woman, by the way.
George Brett said that. Yeah.
Yeah. George Brett.
Bob, for the audio of Joel and Gary in the shower. Sean, sorry, we're on YouTube today. We can't play that fucking shit.
We can't do it.
Mark Guerra, Dan is Nostradamus and has done it again. Really just want to chip in to you guys derailing Gary's life. I'm sorry. His life was fucked before we ever got involved.
I think he almost got arrested last night. There was video footage of you guys getting pulled over last night, I think.
Gary.
Joel, were you with him?
Was Gary here?
Yeah, there he is. Hey, you almost got arrested last night, right? I saw, I think, some footage for this week's show. Did the cops pull you guys over last night? Did you get a ticket? Yeah. Come on up. You're not wearing a shirt again, dude. Jesus Christ.
While he's walking up, I'll read a few more. Rebels says, do you guys think the president is just a mascot to pin all the bullshit on, which when Trump was pres, there was never any good news about it? No, I think the president is important. I think the job is to project power and competency. And when there are, you hire the best, brightest minds in the right positions to do the work, but when there's a fucking critical decision to be made or leadership to be given, it comes from you. That's what I think. Aaron Yeager, whoever is running the country, is the one who posted Joe Biden's endorsement for Kamala. This leads me to believe she will be the Democratic nominee. I mean, a lot of people think that. A lot of people, and a lot of people are behind her as well, including all the delegates, apparently.
Yes, and I think it's too late. There's just not enough time. Gary Bear, did you get arrested last night?
Wait, but that's a brilliant move, right? Like if there is a war going on between the Clintons and the Obamas, which is, I know that for a fact there is, and one side wants to modernize, rebrand the party with Mitt Romney, and the other side wants to put Kamala out there to take a hit, getting everybody to fucking endorse her today was a fucking brilliant political move.
Well, they were the first ones to do it. So Hillary was the very first big name
within
to
5
say,
minutes.
Yes.
Yep.
She said, I'm all in.
Yep.
And you did not hear that from the Obamas. The Obamas still have not endorsed Kamala Harris. Gary, did you get pulled over last night?
Yeah, we got pulled over right out of the gate. I kind of drifted out of the driveway here onto 290.
Not great. Bunch of people died. There was a man's body in the street about a week and a half ago out there.
I didn't know that.
That wasn't his fault.
It wasn't. That's not on you. That was a motorcycle guy.
Yeah. So we sped off, and then allegedly I crossed the double yellow line.
Whoa, that's really far out there.
Yeah, and then they said that I was like going 30 over or something, and then I threw a bald cap out the window and some other bullshit.
Well, that's not true because you still have the bald cap. You used it earlier today.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I see.
I do have a couple.
You've multiple bald caps.
I've got one with hair and one without hair.
Joel, can you grab that mic right quick and tell me if any of this that he just said is even true?
Is that even true?
It's actually all true. I was filming the whole time as well.
Yeah, it's all going to be in this, not this week's episode, but next week's episode of Street Gonzo. We also had a homeless cross-dresser throw a festival mortar at my truck. And so I pulled over and we got out and interviewed them.
Oh, is it a tran? We get a tranny out there?
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, I did it. And I was like, why did you do that? And so they got an interesting theory about how they're saving Earth because they're from space or so, you know how it is.
Yeah, no, that's homelessness.
That's also
and then we ended up at a couple
true.
different strip clubs. And then we actually have a very special episode set up for episode 3 that is definitely going to be XXX rated, basically.
Did you guys get strippers on camera?
We have it set up. We're going there on Tuesday.
Okay, what's the name of that strip club? Are we allowed to say?
It's called the Manhole.
I'm not gonna get into details yet.
The Palazzo.
Okay, Sugars.
It may have been.
Yellow Rose.
Why do you know all these places?
I've shot a few movies here. You know.
But yeah, so
A few movies
I
here
might
back
lose
in the
my
day.
license though. I got a pretty bad ticket. He said, what was it, 5 infractions? They only charged me with 1.
How many points you get?
But see, that's the thing. I'm on this speeding probationary program, so I was supposed to go 3 months without getting a speeding ticket, and it's been like 3 weeks. So now I think I'm gonna get hit with both those tickets. Got to pay for both of them, and the points go on my license, and I already have like 6 other tickets. The good news is I don't have a warrant in Travis County. I asked.
Oh, congratulations!
Well,
you
don't.
asked the police officer.
You don't have to ask, Gary. They'll let you know.
No.
Yeah.
Never mind, I don't
Yeah,
want to get into the details of that. But he did ask what we were doing and why we were, you know.
You had a gun on your lap too.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
You would have. Yeah, oh, that's right. You had a handgun.
Look. I don't want to hurt my case here, boys. But here's the deal. Yeah, this will be the end of this segment. Back to you guys.
No, not really. Because let's really dive in here, Gare Bear. You went sober from drinking, which is great. Otherwise, typically peeling out of here, a guy like you, 0.2 at a minimum.
I'm in the slammer.
Yeah, you 0.2 at a minimum. You're blowing out of here, but you're sticking to just methamphetamines now.
No.
So he probably
No.
didn't know that you're just on meth. and-
Regular.
Oh, Adderall.
Yeah.
Okay,
pharma.
so Adderall.
Big pharma.
Prescribed or no?
Oh yeah, of course prescribed. I don't do anything illegal anymore. I am a clean-cut man, and I don't deserve that ticket.
Did he ask you to get out of the car?
No, he didn't. I will say this though. He did ask. He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And there was a camera, obviously pointed like right in his face.
Sure.
And I told him, I was like, "Look, man, we're filming Street Gonzo, dude. Tune in." So he said he's gonna check the show out.
Oh, that's great. On Thursday, and he still gave you a ticket?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Is he not listening to the goddamn show? Usually every cop in America listens to the show.
Was that gun you had the one you stole?
That was a cop's gun,
Was
right?
that the stolen one?
The guy,
Was
the
it
one,
loaded?
the one that you murdered all those kids with?
I obey all firearm laws.
That's
and
definitely
I've never
not true.
stolen any firearm.
Oh yeah, obviously. No, of course.
But yeah, so all these donations going into the show here, I appreciate it. I'm really hoping that you guys can
pay for your
cut me
ticket.
a piece of that.
No,
Sure.
so what we're going to do instead is use the money to sabotage you, Gary, which is what I said.
Dan,
we're
you
not
don't need to
changing
use
now.
Any amount of money to sabotage me, I do that all on my own.
Yeah, but it's funner when I add to it. You know what I mean? Like if you walk up to something and it's on fire and you've got fucking lighter fluid in your hand, you don't douse a little bit on there? Of course you fucking do.
You sure do.
And you are a
Why
fucking
are you
raging
doing
fire.
this to
You're
me?
because you're on fire.
Dude,
Sorry, Gary.
I went to bed at 6:30 last night working my fucking ass off for you guys, and now you're gonna just make my life worse?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna give you the donations. How much is that ticket?
I don't know. Probably like a lot.
We'll,
All right,
we'll make
call
it.
in.
We'll make it work. Don't
There's
worry
a
about
phone number. Just call in the number. We'll make
Yeah.
it work. Swing Savvy in the chat says, Ross, have you ever hit up the legendary establishment in Atlanta, Swinging Richards? Heard it's a staple of that community. I haven't.
I never even heard of
haven't.
that place.
Yeah, it was shits. What was it back in the day there in Atlanta? It's shut down now. It's where Andrew Jones got popped. The Gold Club. Gold Club was
Can I
legendary
please-
in Atlanta.
Can you please even guess what Swinging Richards is?
Yeah, it's
Swinging dicks. Yeah, swinging dicks. No, I don't know it though. Like I'll pop in there. I'll pop in there and see some dicks flop around.
I'm not going.
I
to
went
that.
to Puppetry of the Penis out in Vegas just to see some dicks smashed together.
I'm all set on that.
You're not going there? What are you,
Come on, man.
Is that what it is? Pop it up on. Whoa. Well, slide it down a little bit, Bob.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. Oh,
You don't
boy,
see
Bob.
anything that's not,
Well, it's on Instagram.
Just
I guess.
let's just not do that.
Yeah.
Rebel says lean
pretty
into the conspiracies with an extra episode a week for us freaks. I don't have time for that shit. It's not Whitmer, it's Stretch and Gretchen. That's her nickname in high school, by the way.
Shut the fuck
Her
up.
nickname in high school, somebody found like her yearbook or something, and her nickname was Stretchin' Gretchen. I don't know if because if she did yoga or what the fuck.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's not for yoga.
Something else. Sir Bob of Oliver says, when is Hard AF coming to Pennsylvania? Unclear. The tri-state area sucks, and not like
Pennsylvania is the hardest state besides
it's worse
Utah
than
to get in.
it's worse than almost every other state.
It'll be there for sure. It's just one of those things where, that's Swingin' Richards in ATL. Oh, they've got their own Instagram account. That's beautiful.
Swingin' Richards ATL, baby.
Yeah,
Check
look
it
at
out.
that.
Oh, it's got some more here.
Oh, they do karaoke?
The hardest people to convert. This is hard, triple R. Oh, do they really? They must have a...
Oh, they said they don't. It's just all wieners all the time.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
They're like, no karaoke here. That was a good post, actually.
All right. The hardest people to convert, I think, going to be forward is the Indians, all the ones that I know in Montana. Believe Trump is the devil, no changing their mind. I've never heard that. Is it?
I didn't know they voted.
I didn't either.
I don't think they do. Lucas Castillo, Lizzo for president. She'd solve homelessness. I'm not sure how was she going to eat the homeless.
Yeah.
I guess that would solve it. David Azolan, Camel Toe will pick Lexington Steele as her VP. I don't understand that.
Oh,
reference.
yeah. That's a porn star. Lex Steele. Lex Steele.
Okay. Perplexed by that. How much hard AF do I need to fund to never have Gary on the show again? He offered $1,000 before. How much?
Oh boy, you got to get it up there.
$5 million.
Gary Bear's been on fire so
I'd say $5 million.
$5 million. Gary Bear's been on fire.
You fund $5 million. We'll fucking make sure Gary's never seen by anyone.
He's
again.
actually a weird genius. He's kind of like McAfee. You know?
Which means he'll probably get killed soon.
Yes. But he'll say that it wasn't him and it really was him, and then the legend will live on.
Peter Go Hawks, Camel Toe Harris is the border czar, so there's that. Yep.
Yeah.
She did a great job. Craig Dulesky, $20. I've sentenced Ross workout lightweights. So no clue what you're saying there, bud.
This late at night, everybody's pretty fucked up, which is fine.
Nick Chandler, what's your armrest? Dan, I don't know. Some people sent this in years ago. I have no idea where it came from or what it is.
No idea. But as far as VPs are concerned, Shapiro seems to be the guy on Twitter. He's trending right now under Kamala. They really want him.
He would be a really good VP for Mitt Romney. Not for you would have to be out of your fucking mind to become Kamala Harris's VP.
I agree,
Jesus
but I want to see
that'd be like if Corky from Life Goes On started a tech company and you accepted a position as COO. Like I'm all set on that, bud. Deadpool Kid, honestly, I don't see how the country can unify or be whole if people are posting, quote, it was staged on their Twitter while an actual human being lost their life. Well, people are fucking stupid.
Josh Shapiro did have a response here. The contrast in this race could not be more clear, and the road to victory in November runs right through Pennsylvania, where this collective work began. I will do everything I can to help elect Kamala Harris as 47th President of the United States. Hasn't been formally announced, but he's willing to go out on a limb and say, yeah, it's Kamala as well.
Yeah, but I mean, think about how... Think about the mind of the leftist over the past 5 years, right? Trust the science, and then 2-3 years later, when everything they said was a lie, it's proven that they just made it all up. That vaccines were safe, that they were effective, that masks worked, blah blah blah, right? That there was a pandemic of the unvaccinated, all these lies that they told. What do they say now, right? Mm-hmm. Like Kimmel and these other people who have finally kind of admitted that that was all bullshit. What do they say? They don't say I was wrong. They say, oh, well, the experts said that, right? All these people coming out to endorse Kamala, and 3 months from now, if she's not the nominee, all they're going to do is be like, oh, well, that's what they told us. They told us that was who it was going to be. It's not my fault. There's no accountability on the left anymore. You could just fucking throw out wild speculation, live in it, right? And then completely pretend like it never existed 2 months later. It's 100% part of their fucking game plan these days.
People are digging up old Josh Shapiro tweets now, trying to go after him. Trans women are women, pass it on. That was from 2020 there. That's not going to fly with that party, homeboy.
Well, I mean, with the Dems, yeah, it does. But it doesn't fly in Pennsylvania. Frank Shell says...
I mean, I guess it does.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Trans women are women, is that...
He was elected.
I don't think it was because of his stance on trans people.
But
right?
if it
I've
didn't
never heard.
fly, if it
I don't
didn't
know.
fly in Pennsylvania, he wouldn't have been elected. Is my point.
Maybe.
I don't agree.
I don't even know
who he ran against.
I don't even know him.
But
to
if
be
it
honest
doesn't
with you.
fly in Pennsylvania, it didn't hurt. It clearly didn't hurt him. At least not a lot. If
Not
he's
yet.
president,
Not
or
yet.
if he's governor.
Not yet. Things are changing a little bit in that regard on those particular issues. That Overton window is going farther to the right. Frank Shell says, girlfriend says Ross should be Kamala's VP. Here's $5 more for Dan to keep the faith. I don't know, faith in what? What do you mean? Kamala, Dan? Oh, you mean for me to run with her? Maybe. I mean, I'm told she gives a pretty elite blowjob.
I've heard that.
So, I could be convinced, I guess.
A lot of people have been pointing to one guy in particular today, who I don't know, Willie something. Willie's the guy's name in California. I guess that allegedly gave her start. Other people have been posting videos with her and
Willie
Montel
Brown.
Williams,
Willie Brown,
the talk show host at a premiere. Did they used to date back in the day?
Yeah, they fucked for a while.
Really?
While Montel was married, she wasn't. So I don't think she did anything wrong technically. But
Yeah, well, Montel Williams did.
Yeah, so Willie Brown was the mayor of San Francisco before Gavin Newsom, who was the mayor before Ed Lee, who was the mayor before Kamala, I believe. I believe that's right.
And then the Democrat.
Or no, Kamala was mayor before. Sorry.
Then the Democratic media has already switched to this headline: 78-year-old Trump will be the oldest U.S. presidential nominee ever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But Biden wasn't. He was fine. He was sharp. He was there, and everything was great. But now, shit. That was posted. That was posted an hour after Joe quit.
She was the district attorney in San Francisco, not the mayor.
Are we gonna get gaslit into that shit for the next 3.5 months?
Good luck, right? Because Trump doesn't hide in his basement. He goes out and talks for 90 minutes every day in front of thousands of people. So how the fuck are you gonna do it?
The motherfucker was in Michigan last night, dude, doing another 90. He's unstoppable. Yeah, look. Everybody's asking who the VP will be. I'm going to read some of these names out here because some of these are fucking crazy to me. Everybody's trying to get out last-minute articles here. So this is according to The Hill. Andy Beshear, Kentucky's governor. I don't know much about Andy Beshear. Do you?
No.
Okay. Says his success as Democratic governor of Kentucky has boosted his profile in the party as it grapples with his future. I guess he turned Kentucky blue. That's the guy. When we did the 2022 show.
Well, I mean, he won a statewide election, but both senators are still Republicans and the legislature is still Republican, so he didn't really turn Kentucky blue.
Pete Buttigieg. That's an obvious one.
That's the person. If I'm a DNC person, if I'm Obama or whoever's in charge over there, I definitely put Buttigieg out there and let him take it up the ass as he is wont to do, and just disappear him from politics forever.
Is he on paternity leave?
He might still be, yeah.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out which one of the two dudes is going to breastfeed that kid.
Gotcha. Well, I didn't know if they were having another one, and then they were going to take off the rest of the year. Roy Cooper from North Carolina. Have a house in North Carolina. Love North Carolina. I fucking hate Roy Cooper.
Cooper is about to get bounced in North Carolina.
Roy
He's not running for shit federally.
Man,
I don't think.
well, if he's going to get bounced, cool, man. If I'm him, I do it. I fucking hate
He
Roy
might
Cooper.
accept, but I'm just saying, I don't think they will pick him.
Another name that I've heard a lot today, Mark Kelly. The Arizona senator who's married to
Gabby Gifford.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard his name a lot today, but I don't really know why. Other than being an astronaut, I don't really know much about him.
Arizona.
He's in Arizona.
But Arizona was barely. I mean, that was barely.
It's going to be Arizona is pretty easily Republican this year.
I would be shocked if Arizona.
I know. I think they're up like 7 or 8 points right now.
Okay.
It's three states.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's Trump's up in 2 of them right now. We'll see how it continues. But Wisconsin, he's up by about 6 points. The aggregate polling says, and Pennsylvania is only up like 2 or 3. Depends on. That's why Shapiro's if they had a real ticket, Shapiro would be a good candidate. That would be the one I would pick. I just don't think there's no way. I'm a guy that's that young, the governor of a swing state.
Mm-hmm.
You can fucking run. Like, he could run laps around Gavin Newsom in 28. Newsom has so much baggage attached to him.
I actually, low-key, think this would be the best election for Newsom to run in. I think
to try to win.
Yeah. Well, I just think he gets bodied in a primary in 28.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he.
Do you know what I mean? Like
he'll
this
have to
is-
be a
He
VP.
drove that state into the fucking ground.
This is his best chance to get a nom.
He was a terrible. Make no mistake, he was a terrible governor who's really driven that state into the fucking ground.
Yeah, he's really bad. I mean, maybe if he, but I don't think he sees it that way, Bob. He's look at
I
this.
agree.
Look at
not,
it. Look at this. You're probably right though. To be honest,
Yeah.
Not that I don't think he could actually win, but there's no way he makes it through a Democratic primary. Not one fucking prayer.
Now the next one is interesting. Wes Moore. He, in my opinion, is a pretty big rising star for the Democratic Party.
Again,
he's the governor of Maryland. I wouldn't do it if I were him.
Yeah,
I would sit this out.
If you're playing spades, man, you don't play your best card when you know you're about to lose that hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense.
Gavin Newsom is up next here.
Ted Cross, how's Herschel doing?
Yeah, how is Herschel doing? Any chance that he switches and becomes a VP?
Yeah, what's the Democratic position on zombies?
Because then you could get Georgia back, Bob.
Yeah, I agree.
vampires and all that shit.
Well, I think Democrats, I know they say they don't like all lives matter, but like it's kind of like all humanoid species matter.
Sure.
You
So
don't want to discriminate against a vampire or a zombie.
Big
or-
pro-vampire lobby over there.
Yeah.
They want cash bail for them. But
No, I understand.
speaking of Georgia, by the way, the shooter, whatever his name was, he had
Thomas Matthew Crooks?
He had information about Fannie Willis on his laptop as well.
Her weight, or what was the information?
It's probably AI porn, to be honest. He was pounding it a lot. Just by the looks of him and the fact that they found porn on his computer, he was pounding it quite a bit.
Fanny.
Yeah, Fanny.
Oh, Fanny.
Michael Silva says, if Kamala ends up winning, does that honestly trigger CW2? Cold War 2? What do you mean? Civil unrest?
War.
Civil War 2. No.
If she wins?
No. I mean,
No.
you know what? Maybe, because if she won, it would be obvious that they fucking stole
Highly
the election. There's
unbelievable
no way
at
that
this
she would
point.
win, so I
Yeah.
guess. But no, it wouldn't. Her winning or someone like her in any other election, no, that wouldn't do that.
Next up on this list is J.B. Pritzker, the Illinois governor. I don't know who that is.
Illinois governors are not fucking getting involved in that.
No.
As a matter of fact, they're more likely to go to federal prison than they are to get elected as president. Ever since shit.
Before Blagojevich, actually. It was
Yeah.
like the two dudes.
Blago.
Blagojevich was the third of 3 in a row, I think.
He was 3 out of 4.
Okay.
So when Blagojevich went to federal prison at the time, like that year, 3 of the last 4 Illinois governors were in federal prison. All at the same time.
So-
Aaron Yeager, $50 for Gary's ticket or the destruction of his shower.
There you
whichever
go,
works.
Gary. We're starting to get money for your ticket
Well, he
now.
said, or the destruction of his shower, whichever works.
Well, we need him here. So yeah, we'll go through the ticket. But it
Dixie
says
Rex.
this Illinois governor boasts an estimated $3.5 billion in net worth. Could easily self-fund a campaign. That's true, I guess.
Sure, but raising money is not a problem for Democrats. They've got all the teachers' unions, all the labor unions. It's not a problem.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dixie Rec, $50. 50 for what Gary could be unburdened by what he's done. Trademark that.
I like that. I like that. And then obviously Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer's on this list. And
I mean, a ticket of Shapiro and Whitmer would be a really good ticket. That's 2
yes,
swing state
but in
governors.
another, well,
That's 2 swing
Yeah.
state governors, one of which is pretty popular. I would make him the president probably.
she's more popular
Whitmer
than
was
Kamala.
actually higher on that list than you would imagine.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, I think she's more popular than Kamala, to be honest.
She
with you.
definitely
In the
is, yeah.
polling.
But I think Shapiro would be the best front of the ticket there. But yeah, either way, to be honest, with him and Whitmer would be a pretty good ticket. It would be a competitive ticket. The problem is that it's so close to the election now. Do you have time to run a good game, and do you want to burn 2 like future stars in the party? I would be very concerned about that.
On mybookie.com, the election odds have been updated. Trump is now at 2-1, or I'm sorry, minus 200. Kamala is at 2-1 right now.
So Trump's odds got worse.
Yes, they went down. Correct. So it was he was right around minus 400 when Biden was still in the race, right after the assassination attempt. So they've been cut in half. Kamala is at plus 200. Michelle Obama is now third at plus 1,800, and Hillary Clinton at 2,500, which is 25-1. Same number as Gretchen Whitmer at 25-1, and then Gavin Newsom is also tied with Michelle Obama at 18-1. Interesting. And they put Joe Manchin in there at 300-1. Sure, why not? I guess at this point,
They're just trying to take people's money right now. To be honest, that's all it is. And good for them.
Are they? Do we really know anymore?
Yeah.
Looking at the last fucking 3 weeks, I have no idea. Me personally, since we're getting out of here, I think you got to stick with Kamala. There's too many people who've already thrown the support her way. Also, from the Democratic side, I just don't see how you skip the first ever black female vice president of the United States and move on from there. The vice presidential pick will be very, very interesting. And we'll be here day in and day out. Kudos to Rob and Delco. Apologies for another late Sunday night show here. Jesus Christ, man. We'll see what happens next weekend. Baby. Yeah, we'll see what happens next weekend. Lázaro Lopez is in the house tonight. Shout out for stopping by. Gary Faust had a few listeners in here. Are they out of here or are they having sex in the back? They're here? Okay, cool. Obviously we keep our back offices open to have sex in. And shout out to Cream Pie Jessica out there as well. We appreciate you tuning in, kids. Wild fucking Sunday. I certainly wasn't anticipating it. I was in the pool with my kids today and the phone kept going off. And I thought Gary might have OD'd or something. And then I looked and I saw that Biden was dropping out. I didn't believe it, actually. I thought he was stubborn enough to stay in. Here we are.
Well, again, we don't know for sure. Nobody's seen or heard from the guy. So it's possible he woke up to the news.
Right now?
Well, sometime between when it came out and now. I don't think they were going to let him anywhere near a fucking microphone.
No. It's still very odd, though, that he didn't address the nation tonight. For something this big, why not go to live to the nation? I know he can't.
What would be
physically, but still.
Yeah, I know. I get it. So I agree with you. Just kind of thinking it through. What's the hurry? Why put the letter out now and then wait for 5 days to talk, right? Or 4 days, however long.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I think the letter went out, so I think this is coordinated by the Clintons. This is my guess, right? Because Obama didn't want Kamala Harris in there. That's not his pick. Obviously, he didn't endorse her, and that's the one guy who should have, right? But the Clintons came out and immediately did it. I think this is Hillary Clinton. I think she convinced Joe to draft the letter before anybody knew what was going on. As a matter of fact, what I learned actually earlier this afternoon is that Biden's team learned 15 minutes before that letter went live on Twitter. His staff.
No way.
15 minutes. 1-5. Yep. So I think Hillary was in charge of this. She put that letter out. She told the delegates, fucking, you guys have a meeting. Kamala's our girl. We're going to fucking push it, blah, blah, blah. Probably didn't even bring up Obama or what he thought. Called all of her friends, Shapiro and so on. Like, hey, go ahead and go on out there and do it. And once you get a couple of key people to endorse her publicly, like the Clintons and others, everybody else just starts parroting the news. Then it becomes, you're establishing that as a fact now. So now it would be taking the nomination away from Kamala Harris, even though she hasn't gotten it. No voter has voted for her. But in the public eye, it would be taking it away from her now because everybody said it and it's established. See how it works? That was Hillary Clinton that did that. I guarantee fucking to you.
Well, let me ask you, any shot that there's a final fuck you on this address on Thursday night where he just goes live on air and announces Kamala Harris as his successor? We should all throw our support behind him, because then it would be virtually impossible.
That's what. I mean, he did it in that tweet.
He did it in the tweet, but to do it live on air, staring down the barrel of the camera to the nation, when everybody's going to be tuned in to watch this.
That's exactly what Teddy Roosevelt did with William Howard Taft. The party wanted Teddy to run again. They were really mad that he wasn't going to run again. But oddly enough, the same people who didn't want Teddy to run as McKinley's vice president in the first place, because they knew that Teddy would take over the party eventually. But they tried to convince him to stay in, and he was like, no, I'm not staying in, and I'm going to name my successor as well, right? And that's why things didn't go well for him after that, politically speaking. But, yeah, I mean, it's happened before. I could totally see Biden doing that. If he can,
I would love it.
If he can muster the fucking energy and mental acuity to say something, right? You don't want to, the last thing you want, if you're actually trying to make it happen, and who knows how self-aware he is at this point, but the last thing you want to do is like endorse her mumbling and stumbling. Like, the successors is Kamala.
Yeah.
Okay? Listen, Jack.
And then the last note here, he does have a brother named Frank, same as Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, Frank Stallone is very active on Twitter.
So does Joe Biden. And Frank Biden's statement was very, very interesting earlier, where he said, selfishly, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my brother, whatever time that is he has left.
That's a fucking weird thing to say.
No shit.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying a lot of things. Like Stephen Miller from Trump's campaign was the first one to leak that Hillary bullshit earlier. Oh, it's going to be Hillary. She's replacing him. And then 5 minutes later, Hillary fucking endorses Kamala. So does Bill.
Why would he do that then?
I don't think any of these people know what they're talking about. Again, I think they listen to one person will say something and they just, well, you know what? That probably is true. And they go out and repeat it 1,000 times. And people think because they're in a position of authority or power that they know what the fuck they're talking about. But if the last 5 years hasn't taught you anything, these people that are experts, that are leaders, that are in charge of things, they don't know shit. They don't know anything. They're fucking morons. They know less than you do.
Yeah.
Because you've at least taken the time to question whether what the fuck you're reading is true or not. They didn't do that. They're just like, oh, fuck yeah, pass it on. That's all they do. Don't listen to any of these assholes.
Well, I like to look at all the options and see what's actually viable and what could actually happen and not try to be a little liar all goddamn day long. But it's tough. It's tough, guys. Luckily, we're here every single day, and we can speculate along with you. We're not experts either.
Well, there's one thing that's not speculation, and it's that for some reason, Biden decided to announce he was stepping down on International Ice Cream Day.
Is that what it is? Is today International Ice Cream Day?
Bob, you want to pull that up?
Fuck.
But where the fuck is Bob?
Took a shit. I saw him scarfing down pizza, and now he's taking his shit back there.
He just fucking ate pizza and chugged hard AFs, and now he's taking a shit in the middle of the show.
Is it really fucking International Ice Cream Day?
It is.
Way to check.
God, that's great. If it is, that is literally the best day to step down as president of the United States. If you're Joe Biden,
it is.
It'd be like if it was International McDonald's Day for Trump, and he was just like, "I'm out of here."
It's the third Sunday in July, every year.
God damn it, man! I didn't know. I don't celebrate.
Maybe that's something. Maybe he was enjoying a cone earlier, a little vanilla cone, and he was like, you know what?
You think he's a vanilla boy?
Quit. Oh yeah, well, I mean that's what he always has in public.
He's a Neller boy. I'm a waffle cone guy myself.
Does he go Jimmy's or no?
I don't know what that means.
What's
sprinkles? It's Northeast for sprinkles.
Jimmy's. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so Biden would say Jimmy's.
Okay.
That's
what I used to call condoms in high school.
Yeah, why Jimmy's? Gator calls it Jimmy's too. remember Gator?
Yeah.
Gator's bitches better be wearing Jimmy's.
Sure do, man. Maybe it was sprinkles all along.
Will Ferrell transitioning or morphing into Gator and the other guys is one of my favorite things that's ever happened.
Should have got a Best Supporting Oscar for Gator.
For Gator, yeah.
Just for the character of
And then
Gator.
he shows up to the Oscars as Gator.
Oh.
And the whole thing. God damn it, man. Nothing good ever happens to me.
No, it doesn't.
Nothing good ever happens.
Sure
People's
doesn't.
houses keep getting broken into. Nobody's breaking into mine.
No.
Not one time.
Maybe tonight.
Did you see that thing on, it was around Twitter the other day. Some dude's driving his truck. A guy in front of him gets road rage, pulls a gun out, walks over to his truck and starts banging on the side of it. He just pops him right in the face.
I saw it.
Nothing like that ever happens to me. Because life is bullshit. There's no God.
Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Maybe it will.
There might be a God. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We appreciate you tuning in, kids, on this Sunday emergency show on Drinkin' Bros. Subscribe to the podcast if you're new to it. I see there's like 4,000 people watching on Twitter and YouTube and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
If you're new to it, go to iTunes. Subscribe. Twitter. Rate the show a 5-star and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star and you can walk away.
Yep.
Our apologies to Brent Pella, who was our guest today. We'll shift that show to tomorrow night.
For those asking, there won't be fake news tomorrow. There will be...
Because we got real news again.
Yeah, there'll be an interview with Brent Pella, the comedian. He's been on before. You know him. He's really funny.
Yes.
It's a really good show.
But that'll be tomorrow night, and this will run here. Obviously, we wanted to go live inside your living rooms today for the big news. For D'Anthony Hollaway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros podcast. Good night, everyone.